All right, let's just jump right in. When you think about the resources we might be running out of, your mind probably goes to oil or maybe some rare metals, right? But what if I told you we're actually facing a shortage of something that seems, well, just about infinite?
So, take a guess. What's the one thing on this planet that we use more of than anything else, aside from the water we drink? I'll bet you've walked on it, driven over it, and probably looked right through it today without giving it a single thought. Yep, you got it. It's sand. Our entire modern civilization is, and I mean this literally, built out of sand. Every single concrete building, every road, every piece of glass, and yeah, even the tiny little silicon chips inside your phone, it all starts as sand. And the amount we're using is it's mind-boggling. We go through about 50 billion tons of sand and gravel every single year. It's almost impossible to picture, but that's enough to cover the entire country of Argentina. And here's the kicker, we're using it up twice as fast as the planet can naturally make more. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, what about all our deserts? Aren't we practically drowning in sand? And that right there brings us to what's called the Great Sand Paradox. Let's get into why all that desert sand is, well, pretty much useless for what we need. So here's the crucial thing you have to understand. Not all sand is created equal. For building our world, we need a very, very specific kind. And it turns out the sand that fills up those massive deserts just doesn't have the right stuff. It really all comes down to basic physics. You see, desert sand has been worn down by wind for millions of years, making its grains all smooth and round. If you try to build with it, it's like using a bunch of tiny marbles. They just won't lock together. For strong concrete, you need the sand from rivers, lakes, and seabeds. Water erosion makes its grains angular and jagged, so they lock together perfectly, creating something strong and durable. But our non-stop demand for this good sand, well, it comes at a massive, massive environmental cost. It's a crisis that's happening right under our noses, or under our rivers, I guess. So how do we get it? The main way is something called riverbed mining. You have these huge barges that basically use giant vacuum cleaners to just suck up the sand from the bottom of the river. And you can probably guess, this whole process is anything but gentle. And doing this just sets off this awful chain reaction. When you dredge a riverbed, you're not just taking sand, you're completely destroying the habitat for fish and plants. All the sediment you kick up clouds the water, which smothers seagrass and coral reefs. It makes riverbanks unstable, causing them to collapse, and it's pushing endangered species like the incredible Gangetic river dolphin even closer to extinction. And to see just how bad this can get, let's look at a real-world example. We're talking about Vietnam's Mekong Delta. It's home to about 20 million people, and decades of non-stop sand mining have created an absolutely dire situation. Get this, between 2017 and 2022, surveys found that the riverbed in the upper part of the delta has dropped by an average of 1.4 meters. Just think about that for a second. The very floor of the river has been scraped away, making the whole system incredibly unstable. And this isn't some abstract environmental number. It has a real, tragic human cost. As the river gets deeper, the banks have no support, and they just collapse. In just 2 years, between 2018 and 2020, over 1,800 homes were just washed away, gone. The scale of this problem has also created another, even darker side effect. Because whenever you have high demand and weak laws, crime just rushes in to fill the void. And this has led to the rise of what people now call sand mafias. And we're not talking about petty theft. This has escalated into something unbelievably violent. This quote from Nautilus magazine is just chilling. Hundreds of people, journalists, activists, rival gang members, have reportedly been murdered over sand. That's not a metaphor. People are dying over this. This whole illegal trade is basically a high-reward, low-risk business for criminal organizations. It runs on bribing officials, on intimidation, and on outright violence. Journalists who try to report on it are often targeted, and the laborers themselves, they face incredibly dangerous conditions, sometimes drowning or being buried alive in underwater sand dunes. And the amount of money flowing through this is just enormous. It's not small time. In India, for example, authorities have been raiding huge money laundering networks tied to the illegal trade of sand and coal. seizing millions in cash that can't be accounted for. Okay, so the problem is clearly immense, it's destructive, and it's dangerous. So what on earth can we do about it? Well, thankfully, there are some pretty promising solutions starting to pop up. Right now, the two main alternatives are manufactured sand and recycled concrete. So you can crush up rock to make sand, which is great for quality control, but it takes a ton of energy. And recycling old concrete is a fantastic, sustainable idea, but again, it's a very energy-intensive process. So they're good steps, for sure, but they're not a perfect fix. And this brings us all the way back to that great sand paradox. What if there was actually a way to turn all that useless, super abundant desert sand into something we could actually build with? Well, some researchers in Norway and Japan are working on that exact problem. They've developed something they call botanical sand concrete. And the process is really cool. They take that fine desert sand, they mix it with tiny bits of wood and some special plant-based additives. Then they press it all together with heat. And what comes out is this brand new, strong material that's perfect for things like paving stones.
What's so great about this is how simple it is. You could do it locally, right there in desert regions, which would cut out all those transportation costs and emissions. Now, it's still in the lab phase, and it definitely needs more testing, especially for things like cold weather. But it's a really, really promising step in the right direction.
And the thing is, we need these solutions, and we need them fast. Just look at the money driving all this. The global sand market is already worth over $173 billion, and it's projected to more than double in the next 10 years. That pressure on our rivers and coasts is only going to get more intense. And really, that brings us to the biggest challenge of all. We've built our entire modern world on this one specific type of sand. But now that we're seeing the true cost to our environment, to our communities, and to human lives, we really have to ask ourselves, how do we start building a better, more sustainable world for the future?